In the year 2000, I had received my very first Disneyland annual pass as a gift, and shortly after, I went on a trip to Disneyland with my friends. The very first thing I wanted to go on was my all time favorite ride, the Haunted Mansion. I love the ride so much, I did research on the ride to figure out the secrets and techniques they use for all the effects. I also memorized a song so I would sing along throughout the ride. So I finally got to the Haunted Mansion and got in line. So far, everything was the same as always, except for one thing. I got to the Pet Cemetery part of the ride, and for some odd reason, the frog's tombstone was missing. And instead, there was another tombstone that says, Seth, forever here. This kind of bothered me. It seemed out of place, and it wasn't one of those family-friendly puns that Disney makes all the time, but I ignored it, thinking it was a new part of the ride. Eventually, I finally got into inside the mansion, so far nothing else being out of the ordinary. The waiting room is still just the waiting room. The ghost host still says the same line as he always does. Then I go into the stretching room part of the ride. And all seems normal until the part where the room goes dark. You see the skeleton hanging himself as usual, but when the lights go out, I saw a ball of light hovering around the ceiling. I knew this wasn't normal because at this point the room should be pitch black. Then, just before the lights turned back on, the ball of light morphed into itself into a shape of a skull and disappeared as the lights turned back on. This was not normal. As we walked outside the room and into the hall of the transforming portraits, I asked my friends about the lights, and none of them saw it. At this point, I thought I was imagining things. We all got on the ride, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary until the ballroom scene with all the holographic goats. I smiled and enjoyed the happy ghosts dancing and celebrating the lady's birthday, but something wasn't right about the scene. I looked up and saw the most horrifying thing I have ever seen in my life. The glass that you see the ghost animatronics reflection off of was broken, and there was a dead body on the floor and a pool of blood by the dinner table. My friends and I freaked out, and all of the other passengers screamed. The ride stopped and the lights turned on. An announcement was made on the loudspeaker. Disneyland thanks you for your visit. Please evacuate the attraction in an orderly fashion. A cast member will be with you shortly to assist you with the evacuation. Thank you. As we were evacuating the ride, we had to walk all the way to the place where you exit the Doom buggies and get off of the ride. At the ride's exit, we heard what sounded like a child crying, even though there were no children around. I saw a bunch of ambulances outside the Haunted Mansion ride, along with the police officers standing outside the ride. I walked up to one of the police officers. He told me the victim's name was Seth.